This is massive. We're going to be talking about Bitcoin until its end, guys. Now, place your bets. What price will Bitcoin reach until its demise? Comment down below. 150k, 200, 500, a million. I'm thinking honestly, before it truly does disappear for a period of time, probably in the higher six figures range, because look what we're seeing right here. Justin, President Trump's executive director of digital assets, says the naysays is on its way to becoming the Bitcoin superpower of the world. This is the biggest lure of known to mankind, guys. Right now, it's bullish. Remember, this is all bullish in the short to medium term. Just don't forget, guys. Okay. Because this would and could boost innovation and attract investment, potentially making it a crypto hub. Right, because Dubai and that part of the world wants to win this race, but America's no, we're coming into play, right? And what's gonna happen to Bitcoin's price when this all comes into play? Well, it's gonna make it rise substantially, guys, right? And it will drag XRP along with it, Ethereum and all and every altcoin out there. Okay, so until the time of the collapse, you must remain bullish. This isn't financial advice, just remain bullish, right? Because it's gonna go one way, and that's upwards. Now, it might even set global standards, increase adoption, and drive blockchain advancements, right? Then this, by the way, aligns with Trump's March 2025 executive order to create a strategic Bitcoin reserve, right? Using seized assets. Though there hasn't been any new purchases yet. Disappointing some, but there are people still expecting a 1 million Bitcoin acquisition as proposed in the Senator Lummis Bitcoin Act, right? So when that stuff happens, guys, that's how $1 million per Bitcoin will get reached, right? Before probably the collapse. Again, it's literally one way, and that's what up we go, right? This is an extremely very fascinating chart. Why? Because it shows that liquidity tops out by September. What did we talk about in the last video we just posted, right? Set that September mark. Maybe a recession, right? Before even we go higher. Maybe something like this. So let's talk about it. So Bitcoin, right? This is the global M2 money supply, and Bitcoin is the orange line. It's literally following it to a T. That means we should reach 130k in the following month of June, then correct to 120k, and then blast off to 160k in the months to come, right? It's literally following it to a T. Then probably a recession will hit, right? Then we go even higher, and then the collapse occurs, something like that, guys. This looks insane, right? Again, remain bullish until it dies one day. But we got the final chart for the day, higher and much higher. So all these charts are basically pointing to we're gonna go higher, guys. In a short to medium term, we got the correction phase 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then the same things are repeating. We haven't reached phase 2 though. Okay, and then there's the banana zone even afterwards, right? After the banana zone is completed, what came after? So from phase 1, we pump, correct, pump again, correct, and then pump again, right? It's like a parabola forming, as you guys can see right here. Look at that, and it literally goes vertical, right? Until one day that happens. So for now, we remain bullish because that's what they're doing, propping it up as much as possible. Okay, and then we got Michael Saylor's strategy buys 4,000 Bitcoin worth about $500 million, right? So they're not stopping at all. Think about it. The way to lure everyone is to prop up Bitcoin, right? The same with XRP and Ethereum. It's to make it skyrocket to beyond the stratosphere, and that seems to be the game plan, right? And guess what? At the top, by the way, right at the top right here, the insiders will sell, but retail will not because they think it's gonna go higher, but then it won't. It will do the opposite. This is crazy. BlackRock buys 4,000 Bitcoin, more Bitcoin today. They now hold 659,000 Bitcoin. the trend is still what, guys? It's up. The trend is up, right? The trend of BlackRock buying Bitcoin never went like this. It never went like that. Instead, it just went like this, guys. Look. It went up, consolidated, up, consolidated, up, consolidate, right? Up. It's going to keep repeating the same pattern until one day it doesn't. But for now, we remain bullish because they are bullish, right? You just have to see what the money is doing, and the money is flooding into Bitcoin, which means it's going to get propped up even higher. Not to mention, Trump media announces $2.5 billion deal to create a Bitcoin treasury. That's like a 2x print of USDT Tether, right? Minting a billion USDT, which is kind of nothing, but it is something because you don't need much money to pump cryptos at all, right? Especially if there's not much selling pressure since everyone's hodling. Not to mention, remember Trump, I think once upon a time quoted Bitcoin as not money, right? In his first term, like in 2017, a long time ago. And now he shifted, and everyone's shifting, right? Their plans, and now everyone's bullish on Bitcoin. But it's odd because the time you wanted to be bullish on Bitcoin, when we were bullish like years ago, right? But no one was bullish then, but Bitcoin was super cheap. Now everyone's becoming bullish, and Bitcoin is expensive. Keep that in your back pocket. What's going to blow your mind next is that $1 trillion of actual real new money for the crypto market is going to equate to an approximate $100 trillion total crypto market cap. Okay? So this is crazy. Look at how it's possible to pump Bitcoin to $1 million before the collapse, to pump Ethereum to $100,000 before the collapse, and to pump XRP to like $100 before the collapse, because Bank of America reported that the new money net inflow is equal to a 100x multiplier of the market cap. That means for $1 that somebody injects into the crypto market is equal to $100 in market cap. Okay? That's a 100x multiplier, guys. So the market cap we see for these coins isn't real, right? It's actually 100x. It's actually 100 less, x less than what's actually invested, guys. Okay? So it's quite easy to prop everything up, and they will. Why? Donald Trump Jr. just said the floodgates are opening for Bitcoin. Very beautiful. One way, and that's up until it isn't one day. For now, we remain bullish, and have been, right?
You see what's going on even, again, the traditional banking system. All of a sudden, now there's an ETF that you can do this, and there's another way you can do it. You know, they were reluctant adapters because I think they view a lot of these technologies as a threat to this, right? I went to Wharton. I graduated in 2000, conventional business school, banking at the time. You know, there's a lot of guys I know, you know, smart guys, good enough, whatever it is, but you know, they're making a lot of money to do not a lot of work, pushing paper across the desk. And I think so many of these things can be so simplified, so expedited, and really shake up that entire system. There's always going to be a reluctance to adapt to that, but there's also going to be a point of necessity where they can't put it off anymore. And so I literally, I mean, every day when I see someone else sort of adapting this or taking on a little bit, I mean, I think we're at the point where those floodgates are going to open.
Wow, the floodgates are going to open, guys. Again, it matches up with the parabola theory of everything skyrocketing before the collapse. Now, they view Bitcoin as an apex instrument of financial freedom, and now Trump media will hold cryptocurrency as a crucial part of our assets, right? The CEO and chairman, Devin Nunes, said, now, our first acquisition of a crown jewel asset, this investment will help defend our company against harassment and discrimination by financial institutions, which plague many Americans and United States firms, he added.
If they haven't already. You know, so I think we're there right now.
It's crazy, guys. Oh, by the way, today was today's Bitcoin convention, with Bitcoin 2025. So that's why there's so much news coming out with Bitcoin, right? The Bitcoin pump, somebody actually will check tomorrow what happened during these conventions. But $11.5 trillion BlackRock managing director said Bitcoin has much higher upside than gold. Here it is.
I think one needs to look at the competition as zero sum, right? They are in many ways sort of different angles on a similar theme, a similar investment thesis and worldview, right? They both are global, scarce, decentralized, fixed supply assets, right? They're both detached from those traditional country and systemic risks, and that's why investors are drawn to them.
But with Bitcoin, there's a little twist, and that factor, right? That unknown factor, Satoshi Nakamoto. That's an issue, right? I guess with gold, it could be something similar because of alchemy, right? Turning things into gold, so which could be unlimited if somebody has that power, which is the Philosopher's Stone. But people say that's fake. With Satoshi, he isn't fake. He's holding a large sum of Bitcoin, of the Bitcoin supply. Then you got ETFs and everything, right? So, by the way, that all happening is extremely bullish for Bitcoin if you haven't noticed. Because if they don't sell, that means there's going to be less selling pressure on the market, and the market will just keep pumping. It's only the issue only arises if one of them sells. That's it. We remain bullish.
And gold today is much less volatile and has a much longer history. But Bitcoin is digitally native in an increasingly digital world, is efficient to store, can be transferred anywhere in the world in near real time at near zero cost. So it has some significant advantages too. I think there's no question Bitcoin has much higher upside than gold and lower downside, right? And so there's different flavors of it that...
Lower downside? I don't know about that one, right? Because it is more riskier than to hold versus gold. If you look at the charts of gold versus Bitcoin in turmoil times, you could tell which one survives, right? And better is a better safe haven asset. In my opinion, it's XRP, right? Compared to everything. But just look at the charts yourself and you'll see. For now, we remain bullish.
Investors have, and many investors are going to own both. We see lots of investors adding to both. We see some switching from, maybe they were 100-0 gold Bitcoin and they went to 80-20 or they went to 50-50. We see a lot of that. But certainly as a category, as a sort of diversifier and hedge, Bitcoin and gold is growing.
But it seems
Yup, exactly. Lure every single person on this planet to buy Bitcoin, and then they'll trickle and buy altcoins, which will then induce alt season, right? It's going to get diabolical out there. They're now saying President Trump's executive director said Bitcoin is the golden standard. They're not going to sell any Bitcoin, which just means a less selling. It's like an entity buying the supply of a certain asset, and they're just going to hold forever until someday they don't. But when somebody else buys, it's just going to add more fuel for that asset to go higher. It's going to be easier. This is why when an entity holds a large sum of the supply, it's better if their intention is good for that asset itself. But the issue is, I don't know Satoshi Nakamoto's intention. Ripple, I do know. They're bullish on XRP. Satoshi, he's been bullish. Maybe he'll change his mind one day. Who knows?
important, and this is the line that folks have been trying to draw for quite some time in the space, right? I mean, Bitcoin is truly the golden standard, and that's why we say Bitcoin is digital gold. We make no bones about that, and I've said repeatedly, as the United States, we want as much of it as we can possibly get. That's why we created the SBR in the way that we've done. We recognize that we're being unique. Obviously, it's a commodity, not a security. Has intrinsic stored value. As David likes to say, it has the immaculate conception, right? This is an asset that we should be harnessing on behalf of the American people, and we're working diligently as a working group to figure out those budget-neutral ways in which we can accumulate more. And I always tell journalists that ask me all the time,
it's always more. That was my downfall. Maybe it will be the same with theirs as well, with them as well.
How much do you want? Again, I'll say repeatedly here today, that's a very silly question. We want as much as we can possibly get, and I'll say it ad nauseum the rest of the time that I'm here. But I think that we showed that we recognize that for being unique in the way that we set up the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve, we have the Digital Assets National Stockpile, which is different. And in this SBR, we said two things. One, we want to accumulate more, and two, we're not going to sell any Bitcoin that we possibly have in U.S. government, period.
Very beautiful, right? But just be careful what you wish for. For now, we remain bullish. They're probably going to pump the hell out of it until the collapse. Now, when each of us very bullish stuff are happening, we remain bullish. What is this, Sophie's Macy's? See ya until the day it dies.